Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Pay and welcome to another episode of Blu Ocean Crypto. We have Miles, head of research at Blu Ocean Games Guild, joining us as usual.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure.
This is a really exciting episode.
Yes, it is. So, considering you're heading to the Gam3rs Choice Awards here on the 31st
I get to go to Miami, Florida.
Jeez,
That's so exciting. I've never been to the Keys before, you know?
It's beautiful. I've been there once.
Yeah.
Definitely try the sushi.
I will, that's for sure.
It's amazing. So, what I wanted to cover today was the voting's done. So they had a panel of judges as well as public voting that went on for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And basically the winners are going to be crowned on the 31st. But I thought, just because so many of these titles we have a lot of in-depth knowledge on, I wanted to go through each of the categories and kind of just quickly discuss our opinions and maybe which ones we thought would be best, because I felt you guys in the community could benefit from our experience with these titles. Now, because there's 18 different categories, we're going to have to move a little quickly to get through them all.
Yeah.
And as awesome as it would be to remember the 70 plus titles, I think what's going to be easier if we just reference a list here.
Yeah,
so
let's do that.
Kind of starting right from the top, there's 5 nominees for each category. And the first category is probably the most important. It's Game of the Year.
That's the most obvious one.
Right, yep. And we've got Big Time, Alluvium, Blankos, Undead Blocks, and Eve.io. Now, great titles to pick.
All of them are really good, and I've done my research on them all.
I'm right away leaning towards Big Time, though.
I'm leaning towards Big Time because I've played it the most, but after having watched some gameplay footage of Blankos, it's already clear to me that they have like a few different mini games.
Yes.
And it's clear to me that it's engaging the populace pretty well. They have a lot of people playing it, different kinds of people. So I'm wondering if maybe the general public will lean towards the Blankos Block Party for its popularity. But
I wonder that too.
I think anybody like us who's played a lot of like World of Warcraft or games like that, or MMORPG players, will be like Big Time. Absolutely Big Time.
Well, I also feel like for me, Big Time leans a little heavier towards NFTs, own your own assets, earning tokens in games, where Blankos isn't. It's more just like own the skins.
That's true,
right?
But remember that the Web3 Gamer Awards is focusing on gameplay first.
That's right.
And economics, tokenomics second.
Yeah.
And while Big Time has really good tokenomics and a really elegant system for that, they also have great gameplay too, which is why I think they made the list.
I think that's why I'm a little biased, because I'm like, Big Time feels more like a Web3 game, but who am I to judge that, right? Because Web3 games is really any games with NFT
any
assets.
game that has NFT assets or anything that relates to the blockchain.
And then, of course, Alluvium does have a place, I think, in that category.
It does have a place, and it is a game that deserves to be on the list, but do I think it's going to win? I don't know if it is, because I'm worried about Teamfight Tactics as a gameplay mode being engaging enough to make a game last longer than a few years. You know what I mean?
Same.
I've played some Teamfight Tactics games, and they get old after you figure out your winning combination. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Which generally for me is a month or a couple months.
Yeah. Eve.io also makes sense. I mean, it's done really good in the esports scene. It's really kind of helped define the FPS genre.
This is the one that I would call the underdog. Eve.io is not a game that looks like it was very difficult to create. Mm-hmm. But what they created is really elegant. It's really smooth. It runs on any device, and it's tons of fun to play, and it's competitive. Yeah. So I think they have a winning formula there.
Me too. And I mean, Undead Blocks, I do think it's a great game, but I don't think I'd put it in the running for top 2 even.
Undead Blocks to me is a game mode as opposed to a game itself. It's like you've got zombies mode, but is there the rest of what else is there going to be apart from zombies mode once they've fully finished their thing?
I just think they need a little bit more runway.
So yeah, the truth is I haven't played a whole lot of Undead Blocks personally, so I don't know if there's things in it that I'm missing, or that if it's updated maybe since the last time I played it, but I feel like it needs to be more. The scope of the game has to be more for it to win Game of the Year.
Me too. Okay, so moving along, we've got most anticipated game.
This one's interesting.
Yeah, Shrapnel, Alluvium, Star Atlas, Dead Drop, and Treeverse. What are you leaning towards
really quickly, one of the other categories, which we'll touch on in a minute, is the best trailer for a video game, I think, is what it's called. And I think that in this category and in that category, we might have a really strong competitor in Shrapnel.
Okay.
I've seen the trailer for this Shrapnel game. I see what they're trying to go for with this Shrapnel game. It looks super clean.
I think
looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. And people are really interested in it. So I'm actually anticipating Shrapnel as one of those games that I want to see what's going to happen, and I want to get into it as soon as it's ready type thing.
Yeah, Star Atlas for me, I think, but it's mostly because I know I would say the most in-depth about that.
Well, the other thing is Star Atlas will probably win because it has the largest scope. of any.
Yes.
As long as they deliver what they're promising to deliver, they will have the largest in-scope metaverse and the most complex in-scope metaverse of all of the games that are on that list right now. So.
And then Treeverse, what's impressed me about Treeverse is kind of that expanded scope. They started with such a simple concept and idea, and they're like, this is the game we're going to make. And then all of a sudden they're like, actually, no, we're making that. Actually, no, we're... And it's like,
so
really
basically,
scaled.
if there was like a most growth award, which I know that there isn't, but if there was, Treeverse would win it. Because Treeverse started off as like, hey, we're growing trees. If I want to run NFTs, you can get a tree. And I was like, that sounds kind of cool.
It's like a full
and now it's like
RPG.
this huge thing that has blown way past my imagination, and like my original understanding of the project is probably pretty invalid now because I have no idea what they're doing this whole MMORPG that they decided to create.
And the graphics look amazing.
So we definitely have to revisit that. I know that one of our members in our team has made a new report on it. So we'll be talking about it again soon.
Dead Drop is one that I'm a little less familiar with. I've definitely seen a few snippets or kind of teasers.
So I keep hearing the name Dr. Disrespect. And I've looked a little bit up about him and looked a little bit up about his game. It seems like he knows what the heck he's doing when it comes to actually playing games. Mm-hmm. And it seems like he knows what he's doing when it comes to building games. His game is very aesthetic. His game looks like a AAA title, and his game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to play.
And I think that's probably why it's in the running.
Apart from that, do I know much about it? Not really. So
it's kind of interesting to see what people will vote for.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the other folks say about it, because anybody who's more involved in that project will probably be like, no, you should take a second and you should see this.
Yeah.
And that's what I need right now for that project.
Me too. Just kind of moving along, we've got Content Creator of the Year. So we've got Bryson, Spike, Crypto Stash, Johan, and John. And I'm a little biased here. I like Crypto Stash. We've had him on the show.
I like him too. He's a really cool fellow.
Yes.
I've gotten a chance to watch quite a few of Bryson's videos.
Me too.
And the truth is, I'm really excited to meet you, Bryson. I don't know if you watch these videos or if you know anything about us, but you seem like a cool fellow, and I'm excited to meet you. So
yeah, he's genuinely excited about Web3 gaming, and that's
and the gaming part about it is the part that he's most focused on, which is what this Gam3rs Choice Awards is really about. So I know that this is really on track for him.
But what I like about Crypto Stash, and there's lots of things I like about him, but he's been in the industry for so long that he's seen so much development and changes, and is just his understanding of all the different companies and everything that's going on in play to earn. It's hard to find someone that knowledgeable in the space, even among
that's true.
The other creators.
He's like the Elrond of Web3.
Yeah.
He was there 3,000 years ago,
Yeah. And the other three creators, I've seen some of their stuff. I know Spike has some good content too, so does Jan, but really, I think Crypto Stash is what I would lean towards here for the winner. But I do feel like popularity might vote for Bryson.
Well, so best content creator does seem like a bit of a popularity contest. I won't lie to you. But it's a good category to have because we want people to be active in this space.
Exactly.
We want to know who's active in the space,
and
right?
It helps promote them.
So with Kagi, I actually didn't know too much about Kagi. And then after I saw that Kagi made a nomination, I was like, maybe I should watch this person's videos. And great creator. You know what I mean? I didn't know much about them before. So
I always call him Johan, but there's... Oh, you're talking about Gagi Jan.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then I haven't seen too much of Johan, so I can't really speak too much on how he is in the running. Out of all of them, I'd say he's the one that I've seen the least content on.
I haven't seen as many.
I have seen a few here and there, but it's been through random YouTube searches that he just happens to come up. So obviously he's doing something right.
That's right.
But yeah, okay, awesome. So just
Can't wait to meet you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see them there, I'm sure. So just kind of moving along to the next one is Best Game Lore. And we've got Alluvium, Shrapnel, Star Atlas, Big Time, and My Pet Hooligan. Now this one's hard for me. The reason being is a lot of these games, the lore isn't really fully developed yet. We kind of just have a taste of what it might be.
Yeah, what it might be. That's a big thing. With Star Atlas, I watched Star Atlas's trailer through again, and it suggests a lot of lore. And I thought about it a little bit. I'm realizing that games that have some of my favorite lore in all the video games, a good example would be Dark Souls. They don't just give you all of their lore on a piece of paper. Here, read this. This is what it's all about. It's you have to go into their game and find it and learn it. It's all present in the environment. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting that hint from Star Atlas a little bit.
Same.
So it's one of the ones that I'm more excited about. But the other one that I'm really excited about is this My Pet Hooligan game. Mm-hmm. It's clear to me that some Hollywood bigwigs have their hand in making this game. And it is really well flavored.
Oh, okay.
And all I can tell you is that there's going to be cute creatures on skateboards, and it looks really, really cool. So
I've seen some videos on it.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's really, really well produced, and I suspect it'll have a cute and spunky story to go along with it.
The only thing I really like about Big Time is the fact that time and space is involved, and I'm a bit of a time junkie. Anything related to time, I kind of lean towards.
The theme there, and actually the theme of My Pet Hooligan is kind of is something about taking down Metazoctron or something like that, and so they're really leaning into like the take down the man, free your own
that's cool.
Finances, I guess, by playing our play and earn game type deal. And it's really cute. I think it's really cute.
Well, Nate, I'm going to be curious to see which one wins that. Because, this one was a little harder for me to kind of pinpoint.
Yeah, there's not a lot of established lore yet.
Kind of just moving along to the next category, we've got Best Game Trailer. So we've got Shrapnel again, Illuvium, Star Atlas, Metalcore, and The Bornless. Now...
So, yeah, I talked a bit about this. I did like Shrapnel's trailer, but, The Bornless released a new trailer recently, and it is freaking freaky, man.
Yeah, I think that one takes the cake for me, too.
I think that's my winner, honestly, and it's not just because we know the Bornless folks. Like, we know the folks from some of those other projects, too, but this trailer is really, really good.
And here's why, in my opinion. Star Atlas, when you're watching the trailer, you get this, like... immense feeling from it, right? Like, oh, this is going to be a big universe. But with Bornless, there was emotion behind the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, there's a sense of dread and horror and, like, uncertainty. And they did a really good job at getting the emotions to come through to kind of let people know that this is a horror genre type game. And that's why I feel like I'm leaning a little bit more towards the Bornless one. And I mean, Illuvium's great, Metalcore cool
Star
too.
Atlas's trailer kind of reminded me of like Titan AE, you know what I mean? Like a Hollywood a big flick where, all the characters are known and everything is known and you're invested in the story a bit, but I don't know the story yet. So so it's a trailer. And then with Shrapnel's trailer was really just like, it's panic. There's a guy, he gets this like cell, he puts it into his body, now he's fighting these like drones for his life. Eventually the drones get him, another guy who looks just like him finds the thing and it starts all over again. It's like, oh dang. You know,
gives you a little bit of hint of like how that
it's going to be high octane is what I'm getting from that, and it looks exciting. But I don't know if it hit me quite as well as the Bornless trailer did. The Bornless trailer was dope.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, awesome. So just kind of moving along for the sake of time. The next category is Best Action/Adventure Game. And I know before I mentioned the nominees here, we were even kind of saying that it feels like they kind of mixed this one together.
Yeah, that's a bit of a category if you ask me. And some of the games that are in the category, I don't know if they define that genre super well.
Yeah, so we've got Big Time, Metalcore, Illuvium, Superior, and My Pet Hooligan. And that's the same thing. I feel like some of them are debatable if they should really necessarily
from my understanding with My Pet Hooligan, it's definitely going to be an action-adventure game. You're going to be doing the that 3D Turtles in Time. You're flying around on a skateboard and shooting each other and things like that. That sounds tons of fun. With Big Time, same thing. It's pretty obvious. It's an MMORPG. There's going to be action and adventure.
Yeah.
Now, with Illuvium, on the other hand, I'm not exactly sure how much action and adventure that really is, because it sounds more like there's going to be an open world, and then you're going to have the teamfight tactics game. So there will be quote-unquote adventure, but how's that going to work?
I think that's more where it means the open world stuff because it is kind of adventure. And then Superior as well, I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards here because Big Time, I feel like, yes, adventure, but Superior action. Yeah. Just because of the style of it, the fact
it's more of an action game than I would say it's an adventure game per se.
Yeah, I feel like it fits the category a little bit better. And it's also a game that just looks awesome and has been something that people have been looking forward to for a long time.
For sure. We want to see this game done so that we can play it.
But I'd say Big Time is probably the second runner-up for me. And then just kind of moving along to the next one, we've got Best Mobile Game, which is Guild of Guardians, Thetan Arena, Sky Weaver, Axie Infinity, and Blast Royale. So this one was tough for me, but I'm curious on your opinion.
Well, so I was biased going into it. I played quite a bit of Axie Infinity. I was like, it's going to be an easy shoe-in. How are they going to make a mobile game more fun than Axie Infinity? Well, then I looked at Skyweaver, and Skyweaver really just looks like a card game that's, of better quality than Axie Infinity was, and now I know that you can play it on your phone. So one of the games that I'm interested to actually personally pick up and look at a little bit more deeply is Skyweaver, and from the gameplay videos, it looks like it's of a similar depth level to the other card game that we're playing, Gods Unchained. I don't know if it's better than Gods Unchained or not yet because I haven't played enough of it to know, but it's definitely at that level. So if it's at that level and at your fingertips on your phone, I think that it might be the winner.
See, for me, I was thinking Guild of Guardians, and the reason being is it looks like a fantastic dungeon crawler multiplayer experience. The issue with the game is the entry level is still very expensive to kind of pick things up.
Yeah.
But they have a really intricate guild system where you can build your guild, and being able to play with people multiplayer through your phone in this dungeon crawler experience, I feel like that's probably the best in its genre in dungeon crawlers.
It's definitely it's uniquely organized. I mean, a lot of dungeon crawlers are not something that you typically will gather a party on and do on your phone.
That's right.
And that's exciting. You're right. That's an angle that people have not really thought about.
Yeah, so I thought maybe we might be surprised, and that was kind of the one that I was leaning towards a little bit.
And then the last one I want to touch on really quickly is Thetan Arena.
Yes.
I know that Thetan Arena has a pretty bad economic history, but the truth is its gameplay history is really stellar. It's a really stellar to play game.
Yeah, it's fun.
So I actually expect it's going to make a comeback sooner or later.
Okay.
And it survived up till this point, so my prediction hasn't failed yet. You know what I mean?
Good point.
A lot of people told me 6 to 12 months ago, oh, Thetan Arena is a great game, but it's going to die immediately. And then it looked like it was going to die, but it didn't, did it? Because people kept playing it.
That's right.
People must have kept playing it because it's fun.
Because they're enjoying it. Great point.
Yeah, so I think it deserves to be on that list.
Me too. And then just kind of moving along, we've got best sports game. So
I did a lot of research on this. Yeah. So I'm a person who's biased against sports. I don't play sports games at all. I don't like sports games at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I did a lot of research on that because I was like, I've spent a lot of time looking for games in general, and I didn't find any sports games in the Web3 sort of space. And I'm like, well, where are the good sports games in the Web3 space? Well, these guys at Web3 Gamer Awards were able to show me quite a few projects that are good games in the actual sports space. You know what I mean?
So the 5 we've got here, it's I believe 5TG Football, Borair, Elden Brawl, Rumble Kongs, and NFL Rivals. Now Rumble Kongs is one that I know of. It's been around for a fair while. It's like a basketball kind of ape style game, which I always thought was really cool.
Yeah.
But the NFL Rivals is the one that I kind of suspect will do pretty good.
Yeah. So NFL Rivals, they have cards sponsored by the NFL, and their game looks like I think we're talking about the same game. The game, it looks like it's an actual, like, you can play this football game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like an 8-way direction, like, 2000s type thing. We're talking this decade. It looks like you can move around it properly and play football.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it at like best AAA graphics.
It's not going to be at like NFL 23 level, but it's going to be pretty close to there.
And people who like to play football games or sports games, this can be a great way.
So there's a large pool of people who are, I think, a relatively large pool of people who are invested in crypto and who are also interested in sports.
Yes.
And a lot of people are looking for the next fun thing to do that's sports related. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so there's quite a few games on this list, this one included, that I think are gonna to sort of be that niche, and people are gonna fall into these games to start. Instead of doing a regular fantasy football league, they'll go, well, why don't we play one of these games?
Yeah, exactly. Make earnings or NFTs and like drafting, and there's just so much.
Well, and they're well organized, and they're also based on real time data. A lot of them, so that makes it more interesting. You can go, as the season develops, our game will develop differently.
Yeah, and I kind of like that there'll be, because of the crypto side, it's almost like doing the drafting, but now there's betting options and earning options. It's much like that. Stuff like that.
There's a project on that list actually that is very much that. It's called So Rare NFT.
Okay.
So Rare NFT, as I understand it, they have a collection of NFL NFTs, NBA NFTs, and MLB NFTs. And the way that their game works is that you craft a lineup of generally five NFT cards, players. And based on their 7-week averages, is what's going to determine the stats of those 5 cards, and then you're basically playing a drafting game using your 5 players, and depending on how well they do in their upcoming games or how well they've done in their last 7 weeks worth of games will determine how well they do in the card game. Cool. Okay. So people will be following, an NBA or following NFL and knowing which players are doing well and which players are not doing well and which players might be injured or whatever it might be, which will affect their averages and which will also affect the person's choice when they're playing.
Yeah, I think that is really cool.
I think that's a really, really cool game because it's going to keep those people who don't want to play video games. They want to do sports stuff.
Yep.
Interested. And it's a format for them, I think.
Cool. So just kind of moving along, we've got Best Casual Game, Blankos, Legends of Venari, Axie Infinity, Townstar, and Sunflower Land. Now, this one was tough for me. I love Sunflower Land, but
I really like it too.
I'm very much into farm resource management type games. I always have been. Sunflower Land is still one I play today. I've played all of these. Townstar, I'd probably put a little lower on the list.
Townstar is at the bottom of the list for me. Yeah. Townstar is what I would call the closest thing to a monumental failure that could be possible. You know what I mean? With the crypto game, they had an inflationary market. And then they went on to Gala Games, and Gala Games tried to sort of fix their inflationary market. But what they really did was just sort of turn the earnings off for a bunch of people who invested a bunch of money in an inflationary game. Those people were obviously not very happy about it. Yeah. And so now Gala Games is trying to revise that by introducing Gala as the earning mechanism for their game, and people are seeing how much money that they've invested and how little they'll be able to get out potentially, and they're not happy.
Yeah.
Now, the actual gameplay of Town Star is pretty fun. You get to make a functioning town. That's pretty great.
For about a day or two.
But yeah, for
that
about
was
a day
the
or
thing.
two.
And then I realized once you've kind of maximized your efficiency on routes, it's kind of like,
this is it.
Now I'm just logging in, clicking, collecting resources, and it feels kind of more like a clicker.
That's right.
Blankos definitely earns its spot here for sure.
Blankos earns its spot anywhere. It's a very, very multifaceted project.
Yeah.
They have a lot of little. They're going to be the Mario Party, honestly, of the Web3 industry is what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to see which one wins this one. I'm not too sure. But kind of just moving along for the sake of time, we've got. And I realize we're taking a little bit too long here, so we might have to pick it up. Best RPG, Big Time, Illuvium, Phantom Galaxies, The Beacon, or Aurora.
So let's talk about RPGs.
Yeah.
I don't think a Teamfight Tactics game super counts as an RPG. I don't think it's deep enough. So Big Time is my obvious choice here. I have looked at this game, thebeacon.gg, though, and I am a huge fan of RPG roguelites, and I'm currently playing a whole bunch of them. This looks like it's going to be a pretty decent RPG. Like, I have friends of mine who are not Web3 folks who don't like crypto games, but I'm like, you need to look at this game. This is our next roguelike game that we're going to get together and play in my basement.
Right on. I think Aurora has a place with this too.
And Aurora is a really, really high quality project that has been sort of under the radar for a lot of people just because it's out of reach price wise. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean it looks any less good. It looks fantastic. And I wish I could be past those walls personally.
So yeah, it's either Aurora or Big Time for me. But,
Same.
Phantom Galaxies I thought was a notable mention there. But
Phantom Galaxies is a game with a great scope. I don't know how well it's developed just yet. But I'm really excited to see when it is developed. Yeah. It might win that title next year or the year after.
They've just got a little ways to go. So next, moving on, is Best FPS Game. We've got EVE.io, Undead Blocks, Metalcore, Dead Drop, and MetaOps. This one was tough for me. Really, it's between EVE.io and MetaOps for me.
I've played all except Dead Drop. EVE.io is probably the winner. With Metalcore, I did get a chance to play Metalcore. I was gifted a Metalcore NFT for Christmas this year. Thank you. And it's actually a great game. I don't know if it necessarily operates at the level that EV.io does right now. Right now, you could play a fat EV.io tournament and it would be proper.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you could do that with Metalcore just yet. So I would vote EV.io.
Yeah. So moving to Best Strategy Game, we've got Gods Unchained, Skyweaver, Splinterlands, Planet Mojo, Axie Infinity. For me, hands down, it's Gods Unchained.
I'm biased, and I would say Gods Unchained as well, but there is a case to be made for Planet Mojo, and there is a case. Planet Mojo looks like a really, really clean MOBA that I think people are going to be like, oh, where's this been all my life? And then they're going to suddenly start playing it. It looks almost as good as like League of Legends and those games. It's really clean.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little biased because I like card games, and they're so well established already.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I feel like they have. And
the other thing I was going to say is that I'm definitely going to play some more Gods Unchained and then play a little bit of Skyweaver, and back I will come to you with a verdict on which is better.
Awesome.
Sooner or later.
So moving to Best Esports Game, we've got EVE.io, Spider Tanks, Axie Infinity, Thetan Arena, and Gods Unchained. Gods Unchained again.
Gods Unchained really? So if they right now they don't have, or at least I don't think that they have a proper draft mode in Gods Unchained. That's what it needs to be perfect.
Yes.
I think that's on the way. However, on the flip side, I have seen some gameplay footage of Spider Tanks. They're
really pushing the whole esports thing. It looks amazing.
It honestly looks amazing, and I've seen a lot of folks playing it and at a very high level. It looks like a slightly slower paced League of Legends.
The paywall is the issue I have with that, where if you really do want a competitive tank, because you do get clear advantages buying better gear.
That's right.
It costs a lot.
When I was watching a video, the thing that now, if we're talking about economics, it's kind of against the scope of the Gamer Awards, but the fact is that if you did want to play with a good tank on your first run, you can make a scholarship deal or a partnership deal with somebody who's renting one out 50-50 on the marketplace.
Yes, that makes it more accessible.
Your slightly better tank, and now you can play on a team with some folks, and if you play really well, then you'll earn enough to keep playing.
I feel like they needed that, or else it wouldn't be accessible.
Absolutely, that's a thing that it goes back to last year and the year before that with other games with the sponsorships. It's definitely necessary for people to get started, because if somebody's really talented at a game and they don't have money, we need to be able to find that person and put them in the circuit, right? So
that's right.
So that's a thing for sure.
Moving along,
the gameplay is really great though.
Yes, it is. So moving along, we've got Metaverse of the Year. We've got the Sandbox, Decentraland, World Wide Web 3, Other Side, and Chibi Dinos. This one was hard for me because they all kind of are doing their own unique things in different ways, except you can kind of say Decentraland and Sandbox is similar. But for me,
say so.
I picked Sandbox, and mostly it's because of the collaborations that they have with a lot of
I would agree with
people.
you, but if I was looking to enter a metaverse today and see which one would I have the most fun in, I don't know if it would be the
That's
Sandbox.
true.
I honestly think it would be this World Wide Web game.
Okay.
The scope of the game is...
It's more than just a game.
It is more than just a game, but from a gameplay point of view, from what I was able to see, it's a top-down MMORPG. And it's like an 8-bit or 16-bit sort of 2D MMORPG. It looks really, really fun. And I was watching people fly around on skateboards, and they were mining stuff and making spells and things like that. They were talking about felling bosses together. These are the sorts of conversations that I would expect to have in a proper MMORPG. Sounds like the people who are playing this game are gilding up and beating bosses together and having a fun time.
Right on, cool.
That's what we're doing in big time. So that gets a really huge check mark for me.
Okay, I'll have to look into that a little bit more. Moving along, we've got Gaming Blockchain of the Year. So Polygon, Immutable X, Solana, Ethereum, and Avalanche.
For me, it's an easy Immutable X.
Okay.
I've had the best experience with Immutable X, and Immutable X as a market seems to be very, very compatible with itself. If you're interested in one game that happens to be on Immutable X or that's designed by Immutable X, you can play a bunch of that game, and then you can use your assets and very easily transport them to a different Immutable X game.
Me too. That was my choice.
And all of the Immutable X games that I have played have been pretty high quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least a AA or a AAA quality. And with a nice, clean marketplace that doesn't seem to be having any issues to attach to.
There's great things with all these, like Polygon's, been really involved in the Web3 gaming space, which is nice.
Polygon would be my second runner-up for sure.
Yeah. Ethereum, but I mean, Ethereum is so broad of scope. I almost just put it in that bucket because that's where Immutable X
That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, if there was no Ethereum, there wouldn't be Immutable X, but I think that's why Immutable X made the list.
Yeah, same.
And so they deserve they deserve their clout. You know what I mean?
Yep. Then we also have Organization of the Year. So Polka Starter Gaming, or GG, Amica Brands, Elixir, YGG, and Fractal.
For me, the like Anna Monica Brands and the other guys, they are well-known names, and they do have a lot of weight behind them. But the one that I think I would put my vote for this time would probably be Elixir.
Me too.
Because they've been putting the most stuff in front of us.
We've seen what Steam did to gaming.
Yes, they're trying to do the Steam thing, and I have that feeling about Elixir, you know what I mean?
And here's a big reason why they're my first pick too. They actually solved a security issue in this industry. Because what was happening for a long time for all these content creators, and I'm subject to it too, constantly getting people reaching out to me on Telegram or leaving comments or messages wanting me to test games when actually they want me to download a malicious file on my computer.
That's right, yeah.
So there was this huge issue for quite a few months where content creators were basically like, if I can only do this if I'm not downloading something. Like, you've got to give me a way to run a virtual machine, and there were ways around that. Like, you could get a virtual machine, run the executable, but then it wouldn't work, and you'd know something happened. But by Elixir vetting these games and putting it on their platform and allowing the games to firstly be released there as a beta, now content creators can still get that first hands-on made content, but it's vetted through Elixir.
Yeah, there's no risk. There's less risk.
That's right. So that to me was like a big, oh wow, they actually solved a huge issue in this industry.
Yeah, they solidified a space for themselves.
Then we've got Studio of the Year. So Gala Games, Mythical Games, Illuvium, Big Time, and AMGI Studios.
This one was really tough for me.
This one was tough for me too.
I want to say Big Time Studios, but not because of their game. It's because of their proprietary vault technology.
Okay.
Big Time Studios came up with their vault technology idea, and the idea is that they want the wallet onboarding process and the Web3 component of their game to be invisible and in the background for those who don't want to see it.
Yes.
When you create your account and log in, it's all made and it's in the background and you don't have to think about it. You're already ready to play.
That's what impressed me about it.
And now I can see that other games in the space are following suit. Even some of the games that we've been watching the development process of, they're like, hey, we're thinking about putting something like this in. And I'm like, yes, do it, please. Exactly. Oh my God, yes. Because it's such a great idea.
Yeah.
Not only is it good for security, but it's also just better for onboarding, because now you've got a whole bunch of folks who want to play the new game, but they don't want to worry about the bullcrap.
Exactly.
And it's actually the biggest thing that stops a lot of my gamer friends from wanting to onboard onto some of these games. Like, oh, well, I don't want to deal with the wallet nonsense. Well, here's a game where you just start it and there's no wallet nonsense.
That's right. It makes it easier. And then there's an 18th category, which doesn't really have any nominees because it was completely up for grabs, and it's most engaged community.
Yeah.
So I'm really
interested about that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like what's going to happen here is that the most engaged community is going to come out and be like, it's us.
Yeah.
We're here. You know what I mean? And
right?
I want to see that happen in real time.
Me too. So, of course, on the 31st, you live and all of us, it's going to be streamed as well. We're going to get to see the winners of all these categories. But I hope you guys found this insightful and just enjoyed some of our opinion on some of these nominees.
I hope you guys are excited to watch this Gamer Awards ceremony, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's a historic event.
And we are also going to be doing a follow-up video with the winners. You know, of course, I definitely recommend you support them and make sure that you're tuned into the stream. But, of course, I'd love to do a follow-up and we can kind of talk about maybe any surprises that we encountered or maybe
or things that we didn't know about, maybe perhaps relating to some of these games, because we're not all knowable.
Yes, and what that 18th category for most engaged community ends up being.
Yeah, so that's right.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Stoked. Cool. Well, have a great trip. Enjoy your time there. I'm looking forward to seeing lots of photos and hearing some stories.
You'll see a slightly more tan face when I get back.
Right on. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. We really appreciate your time here. And until next time, cheers.